you date a chick that has 3 kids, or you date a dude that has 3 kids, 3 different baby mamas, or whatever. It's like, do you really want to jump in that struggle bus with all that? Nah, you talk to your boys about, yo, she's cool, down to her, personality's good, but then your boy be like, yo, but she got 3 baby daddies and 3 kids. You'll be like, nah, it's not worth the headache.
I personally don't want that. And if any of y'all were getting into a situation with 3 baby daddies and 3 kids and shit, I would be like, yo, you sure you want to get into that? But I wouldn't frame it in the sense of you're dating down, that's beneath you, or like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't put that type of energy.
Well, I'll tell you what. I was talking with somebody the other day, and
Who?
A couple friends from work, and a couple other friends. Piece of shit.
Fucking the most Tony energy right there.
I know, for
You'll
real.
bring up anything and Tony wants to know who. You're like, yo, the other day I was with some people. Who are you with? Who? And you're like, Rick and Gina. And he's like, all right. And I'm like, what did that add for you? What did that do for you? It didn't do nothing. Why do you want to know who?
That's good, because you never know. You got to know who, all right? But anyways, I was talking with a couple friends, and a good topic came up. And it's about relationships and how roles should be swapped between the man and his wife. And I wanted to see what you guys think about that. Like, if you and your wife had to swap roles, or your significant other, should I say, like, there a problem? You guys find like you can do it, can't?
For me, it would fucking suck.
Yeah?
Because, yeah, I mean, it means I still have to get up and go to work. You know, me and my wife both work. But it wouldn't mean that I would do more shit around the house. My wife is better than me, okay? She does more things around the house. You know, she be cooking, she be cleaning, and I do those things. She just does it more.
Yeah.
And yeah. I don't want to do it more, which is why I don't do it now. So I wouldn't want it.
But I mean, like,
Although she's been on maternity leave for the last 3 months now. And she's been lit. She's just been, you know, in the crib, getting shit done, hanging out with the kid, you know. She's still tired, but I wouldn't want to do that. I'd rather work than just be with my beautiful son that I love so much. But it's hard being with a baby crying and shit.
Absolutely.
I'd rather work. Work is easier than that, to be honest.
I am too social, I think, to want to be like a stay-at-home dad or something. I wouldn't get that recharge time, because you don't get that social recharge from talking to kids all day. There's a certain age they have to hit before you really get that social recharge from talking to kids. I don't want to talk about Paw Patrol with a 3-year-old all day. That's not going to sustain me from one of my needs.
I've done that with Luca and Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm like, I was like, yo, Luca, you think Sonic's really that fast? He'll look at me. Dad. I'm like, all right, bet. All right, you answered my question. I caught myself doing it, but yeah, I agree with you. I think I'm a social as well. It's just, I don't know. Got to give it up to them. It's definitely difficult. You don't get no sleep time, no downtime for anything. As soon as your man comes home, you're just like, all right, take the baby, let me get a break. And then that doesn't even happen half the times.
So are we only speaking in like marriage and kids terms, or what if like just
Partners.
a man and a woman?
Or a man,
I like
man,
where
or
you're
woman.
going with this, because I think more women should ask men out.
I agree.
Yes.
I
That's-
think there's a stigma to doing that. Like, I don't know if it's as much as it used to be. I know back in the 90s, like if a girl asked you out, it's like, oh, that's because she's easy. That's because
She's a whore. We don't want to, which is absurd.
yeah, it's
had-
ridiculous.
I've had women, because I've told them, like, why don't you just go talk to them? She's like, what, he's going to think I'm a whore? I'm like, what? And he's like, no.
I could see that, though, why they would feel pressure not to do it. I mean, they don't want to be judged. Back then, it was a judgy. I mean, it's still judgy now, but it was hard. If a woman was short any aggression, not even aggression, like the initial approach, it'd be like, damn, girl, you thirsty right now. Like, all right, bet. Like, it was, yeah. It sucks. That's crazy.
They used to do it differently. Like, I had those girls that would like, they would hurt me. When I was in elementary, they'd punch me in my arm. And I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, I was in 2nd grade. They would bully me. But she kind of liked me because she'd just always sit next to me and she'd always be around me, but she'd also be bullying me.
That's how boys used to do it too. They used to hit the girl because they liked them. They'll pick on them because they liked them.
Yeah, going back to the making the first move thing, I honestly think women should ask men out more often. Like, I feel like men are in a really fucked situation where they're like having to play all these little games. Like, does she like me? Does she not like me? Like that idea that like a woman can ask out most men, and most men will be interested in going out for like dinner or to hang out. Or the other way around, women will reject your ass. Like. And that shit is soul crushing, right? And then you got to play the whole game where like women could feel harassed. Women have all these things that like because of the behavior of men and society and different things like that. But there's all this like baggage when it comes to interacting with the opposite sex that it's like it would be way less ambiguous if women went and made that first move. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, men can also be harassed. I had this. I had someone that I went on a couple of dates with, and we just weren't clicking, so we stopped talking. Right? She texted me for months afterwards, asking, like, just bugging me, asking how my day was, and I was like, "Hey, it's going all right." I thought we were going our separate ways. I didn't. I thought we weren't going to do the friendship thing. I'm busy with work, and then a month later, I get another text. It was just constant texting, not quite to the stage of harassment, obviously, but I can see how that situation could be different. You could see the gateway to harassment, at least,
It does go both ways. I've definitely had my fair share of, the one. I had a girlfriend that during COVID, she messaged me. She's like, "I hope you and your entire family catch COVID and die." And I'm like, "Damn." I was like, "I haven't talked to you in years." She's like, "I don't care. I hope your family dies from COVID." I'm like, "Oh shit."
But
like, she was charging that up. She was waiting for a pandemic. She wasn't sure. The Ebola thing happened. She's like, it's not big enough. I gotta wait till there's a bigger crisis. Okay, it's like swine flu. Nah, it ain't. COVID-19 is this is hitting. All right, millions of people. All right, Doey, this is the one. Yeah, that's funny. I do. What do you guys think? Right, and I think Tony was kind of alluding to it. Is there an issue with like if you went like ultra old school traditional, right, where a man works and a man does certain things around the house like mowing the lawn, fixing cars, blah blah, like the stereotypical male role, and then the woman takes care of the kids, cooks, cleans, doesn't work, stays home, blah blah. Is there anything like, what do y'all think about those roles swapping? Like a man staying home with the kids, cooking and cleaning and teaching his kids, and the woman is out there getting bread, mowing the lawn, fixing cars.
I think in this economy, we're getting more and more away from that being a thing that people can do. I think that we're living more and more in a society where both partners in a relationship have to work. But I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And actually, I think I sent y'all the link once. I came across this weird YouTube channel where it was like these super old interviews. And it was like they were in like Australia, and they were interviewing these like these men, just random people on the street, and asking them if they cook and clean at home, and all these kind of like questions like this. And this is like the 1940s, 1930s or something like that. And most of the men, not all of them, but most of the men actually said that they do help with the cooking and cleaning. Some of them said they do more of the cooking and cleaning because their wife, has other stuff that she's doing all day. I thought that was just interesting that there was we picture these traditional like gender roles in relationships in terms of like back in the 1940s and the 1930s, and maybe the reality of that time period was a little different than we think because they didn't have the modern appliances. So imagine how much harder it was to like wash, do laundry, and also try to do all the dishes and try to do all these other house chores with one person. It was impossible. It took so much longer to do things. So the men did contribute more, and they did have to step up a bit more when it came to house life.
Yeah,
I do think.
I know in my house, my dad just worked, and he would mow the lawn and he would fix things, but he wasn't cooking. He would make like fried rice like one time a year. You know what I'm saying? My mom was cooking, cleaning, taking care of us, educating us. Like I grew up with a very traditional household in that respect. Like,
Yeah,
and my mother worked after like all of us went to school. She got a job and shit. But like when we were all growing up, my mother like that's why I always say like I love my dad and all of that. Like I'm not shitting on him at all. But like my mother raised me. I was with her all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that there was like some kind of shift. I think something happened with our boomer parents where they decided that there were these gender roles and these responsibilities that fell specifically on women and men that didn't really quite exist to the extent that they did prior to the generation. They just kind of made it up that these were like the traditional roles. That's my suspicion. I need to do some more research to really like narrow it down. But I was watching a bunch of these old interviews in like the 1920s and 30s and 40s. And they did not seem to be like matching what I would expect from like boomer parents, which granted, that was like the silent generation and the greatest generation and all that shit. Right. So,
I mean, most of it too, like kind of stems like for now, like the modern time now is like the bigger issue is does the woman make more money than you? Because a lot of people feel like if she makes more money than you, then you should automatically default to being at stay at home and taking care and cooking and cleaning and all that shit with the kids. So it's like, is the money really the setting standard now? Like who makes the most money will just default to working and the other person just stays at home? Because a lot of people have problems with that. I don't know. Would you guys be able to do that? Be like, my wife may make more money than me. Fuck it. I got to do all the home shit. Or is it just like, no?
I think it goes on a case by case basis, and I think you just talk to your partner personally. I think if you guys have that conversation and that's like what y'all come down to, I don't know if I would feel comfortable now working, but in some capacity, making my own money, just like asking someone for money feels real weird.
This is the struggle that a lot of women went through. I mean, this is why abusive relationships are so hard to get out of, right? Because the woman's not working, the man is working, and it gives that extra sense of control over it. So there's definitely some there'd be some fear there for me for sure. I mean, honestly though, like the question's a little flawed too though, right? Because just because a person is making more money doesn't mean they necessarily enjoy going to work more than the person that's making less money. Maybe the mental stress of making that much, all the work that goes into having that higher wage, maybe it's not worth it. So like Doey said, it's case by case. You have a discussion. You figure out what you want to do. Figure out if there's a good like payoff between like the wage that you're making, the mental stress of working that job, the ability for one person to not work, or if you want both people to work. There's a whole discussion there, right? Because people that feel like some kind of way about like, oh, I can't have my partner making more money than me because she's a woman. That shit's ridiculous. That's would be the least of my concerns in that kind of situation.
I feel like flipped it. I think women don't want men that make less than them traditionally. Like
they don't.
I think these women that are educated, which women are being educated, they get educated at a higher rate than men. I think it's just, I don't think anybody making that much money wants to date somebody that's making half of what they're making.
But that's the thing though too. That's I think that's where, not sexist, but the bias where it comes to, if the man's making the money and she's but whatever, then the man could support her, right? And it's no problem. But if she was making the money, she wouldn't do that for the guy. You know what I'm saying? Like they'd be like, oh nah, you got to get your shit together. Like I ain't gonna support you. But why is that?
I can't say that for sure, because I've definitely seen my fair share of men. I don't know if it was a healthy way of doing it, but just straight up living off of their women. Like I've seen it happen before.
Same.
And these niggas pretty much don't do nothing. And they pretty much don't got nothing going for them. And they're just leeching off of a woman that's working and shit like that.
So I've definitely seen my fair share of men leeching off of women.
Yeah.
But I kind of know where Tony's coming from, because I've met quite a few women, and of course it's anecdotal. I don't know what the data says that women would do, but I know plenty of women that if their man was making not just like a little bit less, but just enough less that they would be like, nah, like you need to figure out how to support yourself type of shit. I've even know women that'll say shit like a man's money is the shared family money, but the woman that a woman makes that's for her to do what she wants to do with. You know what I'm saying?
I've heard that
Which I
before,
think
too.
that's just crazy. That's like
So
if
super
we a
whack.
family, we pulling our resources together. Otherwise, fuck off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From my perspective. But.
Yeah, I'm kind of with that too. Like, my ideal in a situation like that is we put money into a shared fund for household things, and maybe you have your own situation going on. But none of this in my particular, like, my preference, it involves them not knowing my money situation. I know we've had the talk before about like it's not even my partner's business how much money I'm making. And I think that's ridiculous. I think you should have a good idea of what your partner is making so you can make good financial decisions as a unit.
Yep.
No,
But I
yeah.
Yeah,
think-
like me and my wife, we don't even have a joint. We have one joint bank account that's like we put money together for like our children, like that we could take out of to do things and stuff like that. But she has her own money, I have my own money. We both know how much we both make, and we split bills accordingly based on whatever seems like a fair split. But I find it works better that way because I just bought an Apple Watch 2 days ago. I don't need nobody looking at my bank account talking about, oh, you just spent the Apple Watch. Is that now cutting into your money or is that cutting into her money? Like that, there's a weirdness there. You know what I mean?
But
I
who's
feel
gonna
like
ask
as
you
long
that
as I'm
question?
saving the money that I'm saving, what's up?
But who in the right mind will ask you that fucking question other than Lisa? Like that's or your wife. Like that shit's beats. Like
But those are the questions that come up when you
Oh,
have a
100%.
shared
Yeah.
account.
yeah, no,
Yeah, that's what he's
100%.
saying.
You share an account with somebody. If 2 checks go into that account and somebody spends $800 on something, you're like, well, you better hold up. What are you doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like now you're spending the money that could have gone to other things, or it gets very complicated. Like, and I personally feel like, look, I could buy you a gift and that's nice. We could do gestures for each other. But if you want something, save for yourself. And I can't ever complain about anything you're spending your money on. As long as a family, we're saving the money that we're supposed to be saving. We're investing into like our 401ks and things like that the way that we're supposed to be. I can't complain at all about how you spend your money.
For sure.
I mean? Yeah.
I think that's actually very healthy way of thinking about it, personally.
Would y'all feel any certain way if your partner was making more money than you? I don't think I would, honestly. Like, why would that affect how I feel as a man or anything?
I
It
say
might.
culturally, in my culture, it's so much the other way, and I don't think, like I said, I don't think women in the Latin and the Hispanic culture think it's like sexy for their man to be making way less than them. I think they just the way the culture is.
I think it's
I
just
don't think
any
See,
type.
I could date a girl that worked at Burger King. I could date down, and I wouldn't even like. It wouldn't bother me. I can't say that it's like that 100% for women because, like I said, I've seen women date down. I've seen, you know what I mean. If the looks are there, and height has a lot to do with it as well. They'll date down. It just depends. You know what I mean on what you look like.
The question is, are they dating down? Like, because if you look at it from financially, yeah, of course, you're making an amount of money. This person's working at Burger King. People would say, "Oh, you're dating down," but it's like, all right, but what's that person putting into the relationship?
Facts.
If they're cooking and they're cleaning and they're having sex with you and they look fly and that's what you value, then you're dating at your level. Like you're bringing the thing that you could bring, they're bringing the thing that they could bring, and everybody's happy with the arrangement,
Facts.
right? Like I don't think there's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, that's the problem in general with like rating systems and things like that. Like trying to like the whole old sexist thing of like, oh, she's a 7, that girl's an 8, that girl's a 9, whatever the fuck. Trying to compare people is just, it's a flawed thing to do. People have so many different things they offer to you, especially when you're talking about like from a relationship and whatnot, that like this idea of dating down, dating up and whatnot, I think it's just a flawed idea in general. I don't know that there is really such a thing. We're saying that some people are lesser than us because they make less money, or
It's mostly the woman. Like women when they see.
I think it was mostly men that I grew up like using like the 1 to 10 rating system.
Oh no, the
Oh,
rating.
yeah, that
yeah,
rating
that, yeah,
system
I'm-
is all men. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'm
I think
ta-
that's where it roots from. You start getting into this idea that you have to compare everyone to everyone else and figure out where they rate in your worldview.
your inside circle, your friends, like they'll be like, "Oh, you dating that dude? Making more than him? You got to level up. You can't let someone bring you down." Like it be the friends that will literally make or break a relationship in the beginning stages of it. You know what I mean? Like
If you're allowing your friends to make and break your relationship, I think you have more problems than just. You know,
I mean, you go to
like-
your friends and be like, "Yo, you think everyone's done it. Like you start dating a chick, be like, yo, what you think about it, or do this and that." You just ask opinions. Sometimes it does sway. You know what I mean? Like you date a chick that has 3 kids, or you date a dude that has 3 kids, 3 different baby mamas, or whatever. It's like, do you really want to jump in that struggle bus with all that? Nah. You talk to your boys, be like, yo, she's cool, down to earth, personality's good, but then your boy be like, yo, but she got 3 baby daddies and 3 kids, or he got 3 baby daddies or 3 baby mamas and 3 kids. Like you'll be like, nah, it's not worth the headache, even though she's
Like
cool.
for me, I personally don't want that. And if any of y'all were getting into a situation with 3 baby daddies and 3 kids and shit, I would be like, yo, you sure you want to get into that? But I wouldn't frame it in the sense of you're dating down, that's beneath you, or like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't put that type of energy. I would be like, yo, look, you're walking into a delicate situation that involves multiple people. You're going to be having to be in charge of multiple people's kids. There's going to be, unless the co-parenting's on point, there's going to be a number of confrontations of how to do things. It's a
Friction.
more complicated situation than if you were just dating somebody who had no kids. Like that's undeniable. Yeah,
For
I don't see a wrong with telling your friend that. But I do think it's something wrong to be like, you're dating down, she's beneath you. You're gonna do that? Like shit like that. It's like, you know.
Yeah.
And I know plenty of people that would do that shit.
Yeah.
Cause some hating ass motherfuckers.
You know what's also hating? Y'all not hitting that subscribe button, the share button, the
Facts.
like button.
Let's get those
Facts.
likes up,
Get
bro.
them
Let's
shits
get those-
all the way
Yo,
the fuck up.
Shout out Ted Lee.
Mm.
All right. Shout
Ted
out
Lee's
to
Shout out to
him.
Ted Lee.
Ted
Ted Lee
Lee is
dropped one of the illest comments. What in the Nazi fuck is that flag back there?
Also,
It's not a
do-
Nazi.
do-
It's
do-
not a Nazi flag.
Do I need to address this? This is the
You've done
United.
it.
This is the United Farm Workers flag. I got this because on my mom's side we come from a family of migrant workers and farm workers, and I had a great grandpa that marched with Cesar Chavez back when he was actually in the United Farm Workers Association. Like it's an ancestral thing for it's my my family heritage.
There you go.
It's not a Nazi flag.
We don't
His
report
step
no
is
national
very far away.
socialists. Okay.
Very far away from the anything German related.
Even better, some would say that they're trying to, watch what you're doing, because who's to say that that is not what that is? He just folded it up perfectly. They just wanted to verify. They just wanted to make sure a brown man supported some crazy shit. They're going to see what the fuck's going on, Even so, I had a conversation with somebody, right? And
another conversation.
about the flag, about Mateo's flag.
You be talking to mad people.
I be talking to mad people, bro. And they asked me too, like, yo, that dude's Spanish, right? I was like, yeah. Why you got Nazi flag? Is that like some type of stunt?
Nah.
I'm like, bro, it's not Nazi flag, bro.
Nah.
Like, you really gotta look at it. It's not a Nazi flag. And I had to explain to him. He's like, oh, wow. I looked at that shit the whole wrong way. I'm like, yeah, bro. This a Mexican being a Nazi. I mean, that'll be your first. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, the eagle kind of looks like the Tecate eagle, if you want to go that route.
If you want to go with the beer, facts. It's a Nazi flag.
Yeah, I just looked this up real quick. Apparently, our first lady, Jill Biden, there's some false claims about her giving a speech in front of a Nazi flag. The flag is the United Farm Workers flag.
That's insane.
There you go. This happened.